Amazing parenting. We empower parents to positively impact their children.
Hello parents, Grace here with Amazing Parenting. How are you? How are your children? How's your family? I'm sure your parenting is going brilliantly. But if it's not, no worries. On this channel, you'll find over 200 videos on parenting tips, tools, strategies, ideas of how to make sure your parenting journey is as smooth as it can be, to build those bonds between you and your child. If there's any discrepancies, if there's any strain on your relationship, you will find a video on this channel that will help you through that journey. So if you're new to Amazing Parenting, click the subscribe, put the notification bell on, leave a comment below, because in those videos you might be going through something that is not there. So you might want me to do a video on a specific idea, specific issue that you're going through. So leave a comment below, and of course share these videos. If we don't share these videos, the parents that really need them will not get them. So I share it with at least one other parent. So let's get straight into today. Today we are talking about how to build self-confidence in your children. Now, I've talked about this before and I can't talk about it enough. In the world that our children are being raised in today, if they are not confident in themselves, they're not going to make it. They will be bullied, they will be sidelined, they will be pushed to the back, they'll be overlooked. So we need to teach our children how to be confident in themselves. Because it's got to be in themselves. Because if they try to be confident in being somebody else, it won't last. So we have to teach our children, train our children, guide our children into being confident, having that self-confidence, being able to carry themselves, holding their heads up high, their chests out confidently. And this is how we can instill these ideas and these attributes into our children. So we're going to look at some today, we're going to look at some another time as well. So the first thing we're looking at is offer unconditional acceptance. You know, sometimes we look at our children, we say, oh, only if they were good at this, oh, only if they were just better at this. We've got to accept our children for who they are and what they are. That's who our children are. Yes, of course, we want them to, develop and aspire to greater things, but we have to let our children know you are good enough. As is, you are good enough, because then that will give them the confidence that I'm accepted at home. So why wouldn't I be accepted everywhere else? So it's that acceptance has to start from home, has to start with you as mom, has to start with you as dad. So that unconditional acceptance that, yes, your child might not be academically, able, or your child might not be brilliant at sports, but they're great at something. So accept them for who they are and let them know they are accepted for who they are. Okay, number 2, praise. Praise the effort that your child is doing, not just the outcome. Because sometimes we're so focused on, our child achieving that thing that we forget the effort that they put in to getting it. And I know we've mentioned this before, but it's worth saying again. We have to recognize the effort our child is putting into something, whether it's swimming, whether it's maths, whether it's, going for a walk, the effort they are putting in to whatever it is they're doing, because that's how they will build confidence in whatever it is they're doing. So we have to let them know that I appreciate the effort you've put into this. I appreciate that. I recognize the effort you've put into it. You might not got the outcome you wanted, but I appreciate the effort. Okay? Number 3, let your children try and fail. I'm a big advocate for this. Running behind your children, not letting them fall over. No. Let your children try and fail. Because as they try and fail, they build confidence in how not to do something. But if we're constantly running behind them, doing things for them, they're not going to fail. They're not going to try. They're not going to go through that process. So the process of trying and failing for our children builds self-confidence. And at the time, it might not look like it. You might feel, oh God, I want to help. I want to substitute, for them. You're just hindering your child in the long run. So let your child, try and fail, and help them through those trials and failures. Let them be able to come back to you and say, you know what, Mom, I didn't do that well. I didn't do that well. I failed at that, but I can, try again. And tell them they can try again. Help them through trying again. Because sometimes our children get discouraged. Even you as mum, as dad, you get discouraged. So think about what that's like for a teenager, for a 7-year-old, for, a young adult where they've been trying something and they've been failing. Maybe they've left school, they've left university, or they're now looking for a job, and they've been applying and they've just been getting rejection and failure at these jobs. But you've got to be helping them recognize that try and fail, keep going again, because as they build that confidence of trying, it helps them to stand, helps them to be more confident in what it is they're trying to do. Okay, so number 4, encourage independence. We have to encourage our children to be independent. If your child can get the bus by themselves, let them get the bus by themselves. If your child can walk to school by themselves, let them walk to school by themselves. And I know sometimes it's easy just to drop them off in the car. We went through that as well when our children were at school. But where your children can be independent, cooking for themselves. They might come home from school before you get in from work. They should be able to at least, fry an egg, make some toast, put a boil some rice, boil a few potatoes. Help your children to be independent. They should be able to manage in the house, so they can be independent. And as that independence is built, confidence is building alongside that independence. So let's really build independence in our children. And then lastly, let's look at give children responsibilities. I am a massive advocate for this. Give children responsibilities. Sometimes we say, when I was growing up, I had too much to do. I was looking after the younger siblings. I had to go to work, leave school and go to work. Build responsibilities in your children. Give them things to do. This day, you're cooking. This day, you do housework. This day, you put the bins out. This day, you tidy up. Give them responsibilities. It is important. No matter how young your child is, they could be 2 years old. Teach them responsibility to tidy their toys away. Yes, at 2 years old, they can do that. By the time they're 5, they should be making their own bed. By the time they're 7 and 9, they should be at least washing up their own plate. By the time they, in the last part of their primary school, they should be bringing their clothes down to the washing machine. By the time they're teenagers, they should be able to wash their own clothes, hang them out, put them out. Give your children responsibilities because it builds confidence like you would not believe. So let's leave it there today. Remember, all parents can be great parents. It is a journey and you will get there. God bless.
Amazing parenting. We empower parents to positively impact their children.